As Shane just said, I am currently doing the graduate version of our Bachelor of Laws. For me, I came to law probably the long way round. I originally left school doing a commerce degree. I worked within a multitude of business worlds, a variety of accounting roles, project management, contract administration and procurement. Somewhere in between, I also went back to uni and did a couple of extra degrees around hearing and speech science and speech pathology. And then I reached a point when I was in my early 30s where I found I was mostly going down a contract management pathway as far as my career went, but I was kind of reaching a hurdle because I hadn't done any extra study in my business career, and I needed that extra skill to be able to take me further where I wanted to go. Pretty much at that point, I had three options open to me. Either was to go back and finish my CA, which is the Chartered Accountancy course, which wasn't really an option because I found accounting not quite for me. It was do an MBA, which would have taken me further and got the steps I wanted, but it wasn't going to open those extra doors that I think I really was requiring at that point. And so I started assessing law and thinking about it more, and it was really going to be the option. It was going to not just take my career further, but it was going to really take me to places that I didn't think I was going to actually have an opportunity to do before. With that part all in my head, I started then looking at actual law programs. There were so many law schools out there, and there was a lot to actually sift through all the information to go, what is it I actually want? And that's all I had to stop and think about is, what did I want in a law school? There were options to do correspondence, but when I started really looking at that, it meant I would have to study for at least 6 years. That wasn't something in my time path that I was really wanting to do at that time. Also, studying by correspondence for me meant that I would also miss out on a vital opportunity of being able to make friends with my peers at the time. When I started talking to people who had done law degrees, they all said to me, one of the things you have to do is make friends. Not just from a social perspective, but for the fact that those people are your social network who are going to actually help you with your degree. They're the people who understand exactly what you're going through. They know what it's like to have 3 assignments due by next Friday and no time to actually get them done. They're the only ones who can understand that stress level that you actually have, and they can help talk you through it. There might also be that case that you just can't find online and you need someone to actually help give that to you. You ring a friend, they email it to you. You may just save 5 hours of looking on a computer in about 5 minutes. So with all of this in my head, I started looking at full-time courses. I really wanted a university that was going to have a great reputation because I was also considering what was going to happen to me after my law school experience was done. But I also needed somewhere that was student-focused. Having gone back to university in my 20s and doing postgrad study, I knew what I couldn't handle anymore in a law school. And I didn't want to have the experience of thinking I was still at school. I was now in my 30s. I needed to be able to be treated as an adult and actually be able to continue with my life, not just my social life, but I need to work, I need to support myself. I had a few friends who had been through Macquarie's Law School program, so I started looking at it, and I realised the more I looked at it, the better it actually sounded as an option. Luckily for me, I got in once I applied. I'm doing my course now full-time on campus, so what this means is I am here actually doing face-to-face, but it's not exactly the experience that you had from before. It's quite similar to what Shane was talking about in the JD program. You can kind of say that we've been the guinea pigs to test the new skills that they're actually using to see how they work. But this has actually been really good. So what the difference we have here is, for us as the grad program, a similar concept to all of you being put into one program for your tutes. We actually had that experience in our first semester. We were offered places in tutes that were only with other graduate students. What this meant was straight away you could actually meet peers who were in the same situation as yourself. It made a big difference to the learning experiences as well. Those friends I made in week 1, I'm still friends with right now. There's also a focus that Macquarie has that a lot of other universities don't, and that's our iLearn learning platform. This is essentially an information hub where you can go to and find everything in a central location. So this also, it's not just things like lecture notes, which are there, it's also the audio recordings of the lectures. So for me, I don't listen to my lectures face to face. I generally listen to them in my own time, in the timetable that I've created for myself. We also have online discussion forums. This is a spot where you can go and you can ask questions, not just to your peers, but also to lecturers and tutors. Someone might have already posted a question to something that you've been wondering yourself, and the answer's already there. It also allows other people to put on some information. Someone might find a case that's just been decided that's relevant and interesting to the topic at hand and put that up, and you can go, oh, that's great, I'm going to have a look at that later on. We also, for a lot of our subjects, have online submission as well, which means there's no longer that sort of last-minute dash to the university to hand in your assignment on a Friday afternoon. one click of a button and it's done. These kind of things, they save time, and when you are in a position where time is valuable, they are really important. We also have a really excellent library facility. A lot of stuff is online. Obviously the textbooks are not, you have to go get those in person, but we have access to a lot of legal databases. The amount of time you save by being able to research a case or a journal online instead of going in and physically opening that up, the volumes up in the library, is massive. It really does make a big difference to your learning. As Shane mentioned also, our subject range is really wide. We do have the Priestley 11, which we all have to do, but we also have a great range of electives that are open to us to try. I personally take the approach of picking things I'm interested in, not just going for where is my career path going to go. So I've done a really wide variety of subjects, including family law, commercial law, intellectual property. Next year I'm probably going to do law of the sea and Aboriginal law. I just like to get a bit of a feel for all the types of law that is out there and really see where my niche could eventually be. One thing you'll find that is the difficult transition to go back into study again is getting your time management back on track. You will find that you can take all your life skills that you have developed in the workplace and really apply them into being able to get you up and running in that first year. The first year, it is time management. For me, I actually work 3 days a week in procurement. I also work 1 day a weekend in a clinical role. I then also do 4 subjects a semester. My life is a little busy, but the thing you have to think of is a semester is 16 weeks. You sit down at the beginning, you plan not just a timetable for your week to organise how you actually are going to study each week, but you plan your whole semester. So you know when your assignments are due, you know when you're going to be crazy, and you know when not to make plans socially with your friends because you are going to be immersed in a textbook and your laptop for the whole weekend. It does make life so much easier if you do plan in advance. What you'll also find about the thing about law school that's different to what you've studied before, it's not necessarily learning the facts, it's learning to change the way you think, and that's what law school will do. You won't realise it at first, but one day you'll suddenly wake up and realise a situation has occurred, and the way you would normally react to it, you've reacted completely differently, and it's actually a lot to come down to the way that you've actually been taught. The way we are taught here, the way to actually deal with our subjects and to learn about the law is different to so many other places, that you will come out with this different understanding of the world, not just what you thought you were going to get. There's a wider variety of facets that emerge from it as you study. The other big thing that's going to be hard in your first year is the language. I won't lie, it's not easy. Most degrees will increase your vocabulary by 20,000 words. I probably learnt 10,000 of those in my first semester. I was advised to buy a legal dictionary. Best money well spent is all I can say, and I'd advise you all to do the same. Thank you.